I generally have a console here and I have a headset and then Takshi stole it today.
Easy. How's it going home, Slice?
Close. It's closing. I'm so sorry. I can't stop it.
Oh, man. The door's closing. I'm sorry. I have to go. Goodbye.
And then they click the button and it opens it.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of That's So Bro. This is episode 8, and today we are going to talk about something that we don't probably talk about too much, and that is the daily struggles of the man. And when I say the man, I mean man in general. So we have two amazing guests with us tonight, and we shall let them introduce themselves.
We shall.
Gentlemen, anyone want to go first?
Over to you. Gentleman number one, go for it.
Gentleman number one. All right. My name is Deshaun De Silva. I go by DC. I'm from California. Well, I grew up here, and then I went over to California when I was really young, and then came back down and lived most of my life in California, actually. So grew up there, and then came here, and culture shock, and just still adjusting. I've come back in 2015, and I'm still adjusting, and pretty much doing my thing here on radio.
Right, exactly. I was about to get to that. And if you think his voice sounds familiar, and that is because
I'm from Sun FM.
He's from Sun FM 99.8, 9, 7.
Wow!
Wow! 98.9, 98.9. I got it. 98.9, 90.7.
We won the blue.
989,
So glad we got
987.
that.
Going to the 90s, keep going to the 90s.
Keep
You'll
going.
get there.
Everyone just count down all the way.
1.1, 91.2.
Just
Here
one
we go.
digit.
Here we go. Yeah.
You got to give me one at the start. All right.
All right.
Hets.
So, Tushara Hetty Hamu, but nobody knows me as anything other than Hetty. Been pretty much living in Sri Lanka my entire life. Had a couple of stints overseas for a little bit of education purposes once in a while. Done a lot of theatre in Sri Lanka. Been on the stage since I was 6 years old. Done Sinhala theatre, English theatre, acting, directing, producing, painting sets, getting coffee for the directors. I've gone through the mill.
Right.
And I have a day job as well, which I work in. So it's a combination of being a communications and HR consultant, which I work in, and worked in the corporate sector for a good 26 years before I decided to grow a pair and move into the gig economy, if you will. So in 2018, I started out on that. Didn't know where the hell my next paycheck was coming from. But yeah, I think that was a leap of faith on my part, supported by family. And here I am today with you guys. Yeah.
Oh, God damn. All right.
Well, that certainly is an introduction, right? Okay. So, that being said, we have a very interesting topic to discuss. I think the two of you can have your unique insights. Especially, we have a totally Sri Lankan insight, and we'll have probably maybe a more Californian side to it. Maybe I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how this goes.
That Rats really wants to bond with you the fact that y'all both were in the States.
I didn't. No, I was. I don't. You can't say that.
Rats' accent has gotten so much thicker.
It's like, wait a second.
Yeah, y'all are totally cool, bro.
Colorado, California.
Okay.
Jim Carrey? Was that Jim Carrey?
A little bit.
You see how he gave up?
Yeah, he was like,
We've known each other for what? How long?
How long?
Since 2000. So 24 years.
24 years.
wow.
I've known this guy.
Yeah.
Damn. So he knows me quite well.
Quite well.
Me too well.
I think the real shot is there. When you said 2000, I was like, oh yeah, that's like 3 years ago or something. It's like, oh,
Oh, it's not.
It does hit you,
24.
right?
2 decades ago, bro.
I feel,
Yeah.
I
That's-
didn't want to say it.
All right, just ask a question.
Okay, question. All right, so we're going to lead with something very simple.
Okay.
It's 3 words. 4 words.
Cool. Okay.
I can count. Okay, we're going to start with this. Ready? What is a man? What do you? No, I mean, not the typical what you see on YouTube and all this. They say, what is a woman? Not that kind of man. Wow. But what is a typical man as we see it today?
as we see today.
Or even as you feel, because I mean now we have several interpretations of it. But to you, what does it mean to be a man?
I feel like a lot has changed since, back in the day,
Right.
on what they perceive a man to be. Nowadays, I feel with everything that has changed over time, it has become more complex your question.
I
has
know.
become way because before it would be the provider, the breadwinner, the safety net, the person that protects your family, and
Yes.
now it has just changed into so many sub
Categories.
yeah,
yeah.
exactly. So I wouldn't even. It's so hard to even define now. Huh?
4 words in that sentence, and it's really hard to kind of define it now, ne?
Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Heads?
to you personally, sorry, Heads,
No,
before
go
we
ahead.
to you.
Yeah.
But to you personally, if you had to sum it up in one word, what would that be? Because all 4 of us might have like a different interpretation.
Yeah. No, true. In one word,
One word, brother.
man.
Gotta make
That's
it count. See, I gave you time to think about your answer.
That's tough. In one word, man, I think the way that I lived in the States, here I don't have to worry about that.
Right.
But the way I lived in the States, man, I think it would be more of a, man, it's 2 for me because it's provider and protector for me.
Gotta pick one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What takes
wow.
priority?
Provider.
Provider.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Hetty, I wouldn't say the one word thing, but
No, I think I'll just go into that, and I'll actually take up the challenge on the one
Yeah,
word
go
thing
for it,
as
go for it,
well.
yeah.
Right, yeah.
So for me, I think one of the things I find is, to be very honest, man is the least worrying definition in the entire gamut of gender that has been discussed in the recent past.
Right.
I mean, so
Right.
for you, when you talk about man, I think that's the most uncomplicated definition, I suppose, because then it segues into many different areas of, it could be you are not a man per se. So I mean, the basic part of it is like, okay, for me, the Homo sapien part of it. I mean,
Right.
man basically starts from that
Right.
basis,
Makes sense,
right?
yeah.
Right. And then from there, you go into identification, whether it's gender based or how you feel at this point in time in your life, or however you want to go it.
right.
But for me, I think the word man ultimately translates into human. That's the one word that I would describe it as, because it's about empathy. It's about being able to live with people, understand people, and since we are not talking about age, at my age, it's about realizing, look, people are free to interpret. People are free to come up with their own definitions of what they feel, and it's up to you to find your mind space and your head space as to what that means for you.
Right.
And also understand that your definition shouldn't be something that is superimposed on someone else. It's about people who are comfortable with your definition, will accept you and move on, and not to be bigoted about it, or be having an animosity toward it. But it's not something that you superimpose on anything that you are involved in. So
Right.
that's something that I believe. So for me, man actually translates into human. Any human being for me is man and mankind.
Fair enough. Okay. Human. We shall talk about humans. Yes.
Humans.
Can I just take up a challenge? Because when you asked that question, how do you describe being a man in one word? The first word that came to me was strength.
Okay.
Just because you have to have strength to do what it takes.
Are you saying
To-
women aren't strong?
Aha! No, I'm not. See,
That's why I need the console.
you lost your privileges. Takshi, give the man back his controls.
Sorry guys, I have a console. All right, I generally have a console here, and I have a headset. And then Takshi stole it today, but yeah, go for it. Strength. Strength. You're talking about strength. Yeah, fucking go
The
for it.
one word Amanda is thinking of right now is control.
To me, man means being in control. All right, go for it. Oh, you see that? All right.
So yeah, no strength, because you have to have the strength to do what is necessary, right? To provide, to protect, to be that fall guy, all that stuff.
I like that.
That's what I feel.
And I will take a step further, right? As guys, you're generally asked at a very young age to, and ladies, don't get me wrong, it is, if you fall down and hurt yourself, it is don't cry, don't be a girl.
Oh yeah.
All right.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah, yeah.
when you condition children that way with that belief, what you build is very robust, very almost emotionless men who don't know how to vent or to talk
Regulate the emotions.
or
man.
to regulate the emotions. What are your thoughts on that in this day and age? Because I know, like in my dad's time, and hit, you're not that old. We're old.
I'm just about to go into
Like,
that. Yeah.
when I say my dad's age, the man's like 70 now.
No, I do remember when the Portuguese came to Sri Lanka. But
Right? Yeah.
Wow. Back
Right.
in 1505.
But I do know for a fact that back then, there was no such thing as men's mental health.
No.
Mental health in general, there was
Nah,
nothing.
there wasn't.
Right? So you had to toughen it up. But now with social media and mental health being brought to the forefront, there is something at least being said. What are your thoughts about that as of this day and age? As in guys being allowed a space to regulate their emotions.
What I honestly feel is like you said before, back then there was no we've definitely I went to St. Thomas's
Right.
in Mount, so and playing rugger, and I was getting hurt and like we get into fights in school and all this stuff, and then if we come home and we're bruised up or whatever, like I remember my dad, he'd be like, why there's nothing for you to cry about, like stop crying.
Oh.
Like you can't.
Right.
You're not supposed to.
You're not supposed to.
You're
yeah,
not
yeah.
supposed to. Like we have to suppress everything that we feel and toughen up and be like, no, keep your chin up. That's okay. No, don't worry about it. And that's the same thing that happened to me when I went to the States too, back in like the late 90s. And at that time it was hectic over there with like gang violence and stuff, especially where we lived at. It was like how they would say a neighborhood, a ghetto.
Oh, ghettos.
Yeah,
Which
right.
part of Cali were you in?
So we were in San Diego,
San Diego.
but
San
not
Diego is
really.
generally more of the artsy kind of.
that's what you think. Like
No, I'm thinking of San Francisco. I'm sorry.
San Francisco.
Is that different? Sorry, I'm thinking of
That is, yeah.
My bad. Sorry.
That's way
such
up.
a generalization. Not
Such
everything
a-
makes
so
Sazi
close.
San.
He was so close to
You're
one thing.
right there, bro. You know what I'm saying?
It's just Sazi San.
I can't go by San Diego's in the south.
South.
Yeah.
Closer to Mexico.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
So in San Diego, we witnessed a lot of crazy things happening because we were so close to, we're right next to Mexico.
Right,
Opposite
the
our neighbor is
border.
Mexico. So you have San Isidro, then you have Mexico. San Isidro is in the States.
Right.
So we were close to that. So we see all this cartel stuff and all this stuff happening. And the neighborhood we grew up in, we can't be crying and walking around or anything like that because we lived in a bad neighborhood. So even since that age, still,
Oh my gosh.
after going to the States, you can't have any emotion out. So nowadays, it's become so easy for people to like
Express
talk
themselves,
about
yeah.
it and all that. But for people from like, I would say, I don't know, from like my time, from like my age group that would look at it now would be like, why you being a...
What are you doing? Why are you being a...
Yeah. Like, why you... Hey, I'm about... You know what I mean? You better stop, yeah. You better stop that. You know, that's how they look.
I'm curious to know, like, do you know Spanish by any chance? Mexican, I guess? Do you speak?
Poquito nomás, like...
Oh, a
poquito,
little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't. 'Cause-
So my daughter's mom is Mexican. She's from Oaxaca.
What?
Yeah.
So what's the place called?
Oaxaca in Mexico.
Right next to Wakanda. Is
That's like Wakanda when you have a call.
That's the one. That's the one. What kind of shit?
Okay then. Oh my god. Not where I wanted to go because when you were describing the whole, the sort of ghetto neighborhood and you said
Yeah.
you're right next to Mexico, I was just thinking of these guys coming around the corner of the street going, "Hey, ese, how's it going home, slice, eh?" Something like that. I just had that in
No
my
idea
head.
what you just said. Did you?
Orale Holmes.
we had a pretty bad experience there. It was pretty bad. I mean, but like my mom and my stepdad were trying their hardest. We did like low-level jobs, but we were still trying.
Right.
The first job I had was at McDonald's.
Hey,
and that was out of
standard,
high school.
yeah.
First job my stepdad had was at McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? My mom was at a Montessori.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So we were trying,
Like,
and
yeah,
literally, bro, all we had at the end of the month was like $50, like to maybe go watch a movie all together as a family, or
Right.
you know, little things like that. So we appreciated that because we still stuck together as a family. I kind of veered off,
Okay.
and because I hung out with a lot of the people that were doing like gang banging or like whatever it is. Like even this. That's why I'm saying the way I lived there, it was so different because they're going back to what you were saying. It's like we are not allowed to have any emotions. Like we can't. Why? Even the girls will look at you like, "Are you fucking crying?" Like, you know, like yeah, like they look at you.
Are you
like,
just shedding a tear right now? What's going on?
You look like a, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
just say it straight
Oh,
up.
man, okay.
So we weren't allowed to. Right. It's after I came back to Sri Lanka in 2015 that all these emotions started coming out, and I couldn't even control it. My daughter is now 17. I have a son here, he's 5. So with them, I started having like these emotions. As my daughter is born and stuff, you can, and then talk about it to whoever you're with.
Right,
not
right.
anybody else.
Right.
Nowadays, it's so different.
Now
because you
everybody's on
can't-
social media and crying, man. You know?
Crying.
Hold on.
Crime feels.
Let's get that same question to you, Hetty, because I think you've seen a few more years behind that also. Not
Absolutely
to say.
right. But I think from an age perspective, our kids are very close in age. I mean, I have a 16-year-old daughter and a 10-year-old son. He'll be turning 11 on the 25th of September. So happy birthday, by the way. He's just the whole idea of growing up and finding that emotional space and actually translating from being what we were to what they want us to be or what they need us to be has been the biggest challenge for me.
Right.
And understanding that and realizing, look, at a certain point in time, you get out of that idolization of your parents as the ideal parents that you could have into realizing that ain't gonna work. So what got you here is not gonna get you there.
Right.
That part of it. And you realize that you need to now move into more being the friend zone for your family. So I'm very happy. I'm having very open conversations with my kids. I'm the thing. And to be very honest, I don't think there has been a day. I mean, I come from a family of 7, so 7 siblings.
Right.
So that's rather a large family at that point in time.
My
It's an
gosh,
interesting
yes.
story because I mean, you talk about emotional space and all of that. I was the youngest of a family of 7. So in that space, I had 4 brothers and 2 sisters, and you know what they say about the youngest being spoiled and all of that. I had a lot of advantage in that way because they had it a lot tougher than me coming in and doing that. But maybe in the smart aleck, when I got into university and all of that, I went on this whole harangue about, you know, it's a great thing to have large families in those days, but nowadays it's not very practical. And you know, one thing my father said, we spoke Sinhalese in our house, but he actually to translate that is like he took me to the dinner table or the Aurudhu table that we were having at that point in time. He pointed around the table at all my siblings and said, okay, you tell me where you wanted me to stop. Right?
Oh.
And I had no answer to that.
Right.
I had no answer to that because and that's when I realized, you know, look, it wasn't because he was trying to prove his virility or whatever. It just happened organically. And I remember going with him to the Maharagama market to buy the 50 kg gunny bag of rice because that's what it took to feed that family for like a month. Right. So you know that kind of thing. So finding that emotional space is important and being able to. Although I come from, as you say, a slightly different generation, I found a lot of ability to have an active emotional space to be part of. And one of the things that I do need to thank, which is something that I met Radhika with, is theatre. Because being involved in the performing arts actually helped me find that space very early.
Right.
So in a way, it wasn't something that was a huge challenge for me, even though I come from a different generation, because I worked with different generations over the 25 years that I worked in this field. So I keep renewing myself every time I come into contact. So it wasn't a big leap for me from being a single, happy-go-lucky bachelor in 99 when I first started, you know, acting and directing and doing that stuff, to 2024 when I'm a father of a 16-year-old daughter who's probably going through her first relationship and things like that.
Right.
So it helped me to evolve, and I think being relevant is what makes it there. So there's no big time lapse or jump for each of these pieces, and as a result, I found that I'm happy to say that I've cried a lot. I mean, I've cried when I've had, you know, certain friends whom I trusted in a lot, even quite recently, who were not really, you know, who I thought they were. So, I mean, it's okay to just open out and do that. And I've always been comfortable with that and doing that. So maybe I'm not the typical, what you would call the man of that era, but yeah, I did live. And to be fair, my parents never lifted a hand against us when we were growing up. I mean, they always relied on logic, which is a very, very strange thing.
You lucky bastard.
I know. So the only time they lifted the fan was just to make sure that the latch was down in the door so that I could come back into the house at 3 o'clock in the morning, but that's a different story. But even at that point, he made sure that there was something for me to lie on so that it wasn't really the dog house that I went into.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So I had, in that way, it's like you pass on what you get, is what I'm saying. Yeah. So you realize that the space is there. The space has always been there, and it depends on your background because, I mean, you're brought up in a culture, like you mentioned, school. For me, I think 20% of what you get is out of school. 80% is what you get at home. And that's really something that we have to carry it forward and create in that space. So I'm very happy with the way that we are open to it, but I don't think it's a brand new thing that we are looking at, and it's always been there for people who are willing to find that space.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I think that's very important. The fact that you said that for people who are willing to try it, it was always there. Because I think as guys, right, you grow up ideally idolizing your primary caregiver, father or mother. And to me, my dad was a very big, tall, scary man.
Right.
Who went around yelling at people, but then that's not how they got things done. And a part of me always thought, because that is what it is to be a man. You had to be looming, you had to be almost borderline terrorizing, and that's how you get authority and all that. But then somewhere down the line, you ran, maybe that's not how you do the thing, right? Because, yes, Raj?
No, because what you said, isn't that also a culture thing here? Because
it's a culture thing for sure.
No, because if you don't yell at certain people with certain choice words, such as
Yalua,
like fudge and
fudge. What Sesame Street has house did you grow up in?
Oh, what they call those people in the merchant navy?
Oh yeah. It's the merchant navy. Hi Yoshi.
I just thought I'd mention that.
Yeah.
What do you call them, Reds?
No, like it's Sinhala Kunu Harba.
Right.
That's the best way I can say.
Sinhala Kunu Harba වලින් බයින්න නැතුව බෑ වැඩේ කරන්න.
Don't you find that Sinhala Kunuharpa is so much more
Potent.
visualistic and potent
Yeah, it's just
than English?
It's palpable, right?
More than English, like filth.
Yeah,
You say it in Sinhala, it's like, wow,
Hey.
it really hits.
කියලා පටන් ගත්තාම there's more. Yeah. But here the thing is, in most of the workspaces, you need that language to get certain things done, or people just seem to not concentrate or lose focus.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what you saw. I mean, I see that at work and other places that I experience.
No, but then I basically saw my dad never ask anybody, like, how do you think we should do this? It was always, it's a leader, and then he tells you what to do, and you just obey it.
Okay,
So it's not a leader,
type of leadership. So that's the autocratic leadership
That's what
style
I always saw.
that you see.
Shout out to you, Tata.
But there's servant leadership, like Mother Teresa was a leader.
Right.
But she was never someone to say, "Karapanyak," she
Yeah,
never
yeah.
did that.
Y'all can swear, right? That's the point about that.
Oh, shit.
No, only thing is, Takshi will just do this every once in a while.
No, but what I'm saying is there are different styles of leadership. You're absolutely right. So we were brought up on this whole machismo, autocratic leadership, man of the company, boss walks in, everybody, the
Stand up
Red Sea
and-
paths,
yeah,
and
yeah.
You walk in.
The Red Sea paths.
Right?
Oh.
Yes,
And it's so true,
and then
though,
you
I've
drop a
seen
tablet
this,
on the way and you end up with 10 commandments. That's a different story altogether. Yeah.
That was only 9.
Listen, people, I have 15 punk. 10 commandments. History of the World, Part 1.
Yes.
I got you, bro. Mel Brooks.
Took me back with
Yeah,
that
so
one.
like I said, we've all experienced different types of leadership. So I think one thing that my dad had was he was never a shouter, never a thing. I think now we're talking about daddy issues, no? But let's talk about that. But for me, it's like it was always a case of he questioned, like what you said, like what could you think you could do better? But there were certain decisions that he took, like when I got through the scholarship exam and I was willing to go with my friends to a school that was there, and he said, no way, you are the only guy who from your school who got into this school, you're going to go there. And that was his decision.
Right.
So there are some decisions that you can't leave to a child, to be very honest.
Fair enough.
And I strongly believe that
true.
because there is no
Something.
I think I honestly don't know the English word for this, but whether it's the cognitive intelligence or whatever, it's called vitakshana buddhiya in Sinhalese.
I didn't even understand that in Sinhala.
Okay.
Yeah,
You can't Google
Siri,
What is Vitakshana?
So it's the ability to comprehend and grasp. It's like why the age for statutory rape is shifted downwards and all of that sort of thing, because there's a certain age when a child realizes what is right and what is wrong.
Right.
And then that's, now, so imagine if you don't train, I'm not a psychologist, but this is my pure experience. Imagine if you don't treat a child and tell him, look, it's not okay to shit in your bed.
Right.
Right. And you just keep saying, okay, do that. You don't do corrective measures on that. At a certain point, it becomes the norm for him, right? I mean, like, it's okay to piss in your pants. You just don't correct it at a certain point.
Right.
So the whole potty training, the toilet training, and all of these things are part of building that cognitive intelligence part of a child. So giving them the sense of morality. Now, I mean, you've traveled the world, you've seen certain countries where it's just okay to just, put up your dhoti or, put down your pants and just piss on the street. Right. But we don't acknowledge that here because we are taught that it is wrong. We are taught that it is wrong.
Right.
So that's the part of the space that we need to understand, that it's not corporal punishment that's there. It's about teaching a child what's right or wrong. And that's something that you build the space for. And that, I believe, is whether it's man or woman or whoever it is that comes into that space, as human beings, we have that responsibility towards our kids to teach them what's right from wrong as we perceive it. Then they can change according to their thing as their cognitive intelligence grows.
Right.
But at this point, that's our duty, I honestly believe, as
My
men.
IQ just grew about 50 points.
well, I mean, I feel like a lot of people need to be educated on things. I mean, that's definitely something that needs to happen here. And plus in the States too, it's like you would think, but a lot of people that I've met, they don't know anything outside of whatever city that they're in.
Oh yeah, that is true.
Right?
That
And,
is so
like,
true. About Americans, my gosh.
You're born there, right? Like I'm saying, people in Riverside haven't even seen the beach. It's a 1 hour drive. Go. What are you talking about?
Enjoy, explore your locality.
What do you mean? You just watch it on TV? Go, witness it, experience it. You know what I mean? Even for me, like I would love to try and travel anywhere I could there, as much as I could, because there's so much to see there.
Right.
And even when it comes back to like what we were talking about with my stepdad, it's not that I was never against him, because I was always like, I'm a mama's boy. All right. So like,
Hey, same here.
as
No
long
shame.
as my mom has a smile on her face and she's good, then I'm good. You know what I mean? So like he's taking care of her. That's all right. Like my mom and my dad split, and then she found somebody else, and we went to the States. That's what happened. So, and that's okay. I mean, I love my dad. My dad loves us, but like, we were there pretty much alone. I didn't have a father figure like that. Uncle Rakshit, is great. He's awesome. He didn't have to take care of us like that.
Right.
But he did.
Right.
And I was such a big problem, bro. I was trouble. Like, from the time I was in high school, I was
troublesome kid.
bro.
Dude.
Like, bad. I don't want to say too much on here, but like, trouble. So he didn't have to deal with that, right? He could have been like, I'm done with this and gone.
Yeah, but he stayed.
He stayed, so
Nice.
that means a lot.
It's an interesting thing that he spoke about love. I mean, like,
Yeah.
the whole idea of professing love for a man, to say, I love my dad, I love my parents, I love my friends.
Right.
To say
Right.
that, it took a long time for that to be okay.
Oh, yeah.
It took a long time. We were mucking around with this whole symbol thing about, the heart symbol and all of that. I mean, even if you look at Facebook, people used to just like your comments, but
Right.
so all of a sudden now men are finding it more easier to put the heart sign on, to say,
The-
I
the-
love
there's a
this,
hug thingy also
there's
now.
a hug thingy, all of that.
Yeah.
We are
Yeah.
becoming a little bit more expressive and a little bit more open about how we express our emotions.
Right.
And I've seen that change happening a lot, because even amongst my friends who are borderline the golden jubilee, we still find it, some of them still find it, but we are okay now to say, I love you, man, not in that sense, but, I love what you did, I love the work you're doing, I love, what you've done out there, just to say that, good job, man, you go high in the corporate world and all of that, rather than doing that, right? I say, you're a man made for the suit and tie. They're just like, I love what you're doing, man. Realizing that diversity is something that, diversity of interest as well. I mean, like, normally you would say, okay, you need to be, macho, you need to be doing this, you need to be doing the corporate thing, going up, why aren't you an MD yet? Why aren't you a CEO yet?
My gosh.
But, hey, I love the work you're doing with the kids, man. I love the work that you're doing in giving them that opportunity to express themselves. And I find that quite refreshing.
And thank you, Hetty, for that amazing segue. Because one of the questions we wanted to actually discuss here was expressing emotions, expressing love as men, love, friendship, whatever. Like, how do you, if you're having trouble, like, how many guys out there say, you know what, I'm having trouble, I think I need help. I think I need to reach out to a friend. And how many people will be the person to actually reach out to your bro or your friend, to be the person, because again, you're right, things are changing, but certain people still, guys mainly, guys out there may find it difficult to still express themselves in that way, saying that, hey, I love you. Because growing up, I never heard from my family or my dad, even my mom for that sake, in that case, saying, hey, puta, I love you, among those words were so rare. We never heard that. But like you said, Hets, it's changing now. But how many are still out there? And why can't that be? I mean, why can't it be more open? I mean, that's one of the things that guys usually would struggle on a day-to-day basis.
Definitely.
Connecting.
Definitely. I wasn't able to say it unless you're in like a relationship or something. If I was in a relationship now in the States, even any relationship I was in, if I love the person, also like rarely I'll be like, yeah, I love you too. Like, like you just mumbling. I love you.
Because that happened to be the States too. So when I was in college, the exam.
Oh my God, you were in the States also? Oh, that's crazy. I had no idea.
I said that with the least amount of accent I possibly could, nah?
Well, to be very honest, love is a four-letter word, so yeah. So it's something that we have difficulty with.
Sorry, guys. Raj was in the States. Yeah, Raj. What part of the States were you?
We never realized you were.
Yeah.
So when was this?
This was a while ago.
Was it
Did you know
San
Kyle?
Andreas or San Francisco or Santa Claus?
It was sans me saying anything.
Sorry, man. I just had to take that.
Of course. Thank you, Amanda.
I got you, bro.
Yeah.
That's so, bro. I got you.
Yeah, that is so, bro.
That's right, man.
That is totally bro. See, why are men having problems? Making fun. No, that's actually cool. It's cool. We're bros. No. So what you were saying, guys would, when we're having a good time, yo, I love you, bro. I'm like what? I'm sorry, what did you say?
Yeah.
I love you, bro. Just chill. Oh. Yeah, okay.
You would say it in a different way though, like, man, I love you, bro, that.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't say it in like, yeah, I love you, man,
like the sincerity of it, like
I love you, homie, don't worry. I've only said that to only a few people, you know what I mean? Because I've lost a lot of my friends also. Like I've lost a lot of my friends. So like, even one of my friends died with me right there.
Oof.
Right.
Okay.
So to even tell him, it was so like, but I wanted to say it to him because I did feel that for him. You know what I mean? So that's why I even have this tattoo here.
The teardrop.
Because it's the outline of the teardrop is if you lose people to that type of lifestyle.
Okay.
So I do love my brothers. Like they're all my brothers. There are snakes and all these people that come with your homies.
Right.
But it's only after I came to Sri Lanka that I start feeling emotions, and I would cry and stuff too, like, because I wouldn't know what's happening to me. I didn't know what to feel, like, and I would get angry about it. And I'm like, why am I fucking crying? Like, why am I feeling like this? You know? Because I don't know what's happening to me. Like,
And that comes out in a different way,
it comes out with anger also.
Right.
So I don't know how to put it out. And now you would have to go to therapy and stuff like that. I didn't want to do any of that. And then when I get into relationships, I depend purely on that person to understand me.
So, yeah,
to
okay.
open up.
Instead of you opening up, you expect the other person to understand this is who you are, and then
Yeah,
for
and
them
like
to
just-
know what you would need instead of you actually telling
I
them.
think that's a very
Yeah,
important
because we don't
point.
talk about it, right? We
That's a
don't
very,
talk.
Plus,
very
I mean,
important point.
the way he was going, it's not that he was expecting them to. It's just that he did not know how to because
Yeah.
he
Right,
himself didn't know what
right.
was wrong. Yeah.
No.
So yeah, I mean, obviously that's also another guy thing, like a very common guy thing that happens. We don't know how to express ourselves to our partners or friends, and eventually it'll come out in a different way that we don't necessarily mean to.
You're in the middle of a supermarket and and there are 3 tomatoes. All of them are rotten. You're like, fuck, and that's how it starts.
Fuck the tomatoes.
I would go out on a limb here and say that. So every Sunday, every other Sunday, I have a men's circle that I work with. Hey, Vida, how's it going? Thanks so much for that. And what I do for that
Not so
is-
subtle plug there.
what I do for that is I get a random bunch of guys. Anybody is free to join.
Hi.
Anybody's free to join. And,
Not to say who, but
what we do
looking
for
at
that
you.
is I essentially will start by saying there's like a team building exercise thing that you just pass the ball or do something silly. But then after that, it is I will give you 3 minutes to speak. I won't speak over you. None of these people will interrupt you. They are not here to give you advice, and we won't judge you. I will start the timer and just let you talk, right? The first minute is always a very shallow minute, right? They will touch on, work
I've
stuff
been-
and this and that and that. And then if I give you 2 more minutes, it just goes boom, and it just goes really deep. But then what I was told by another psychologist that works there
Okay.
is guys would rather trust a stranger than trust even their best friends when it comes to telling something as vulnerable as this. The second thing is
Okay.
guys would rather trust a complete random stranger again rather than trusting their own therapist. So the therapist at this place is now giving me and sharing notes with me because she's like, just in case they say something that you don't catch on, you might need to help out.
Oh.
So be careful. And the last thing is the guy who organized all of this, the guy who got me into this, his name is Joe. Joe's unfortunately still in the UK. The second he comes back down, we'll all go. But the thing he told me was sometimes a guy just needs to be heard.
Yeah.
You just need to give him some space to talk. And that's all it takes. And had there been more of these circles where you build a sense of community with a peer group that you know is not waiting for you to say something wrong and just to chastise you, I think a lot of the issues we have as men in a country like Sri Lanka could have been resolved like that.
And actually, I relate to that because we were talking about provider, protector,
Strength.
problem solver.
Right.
Those the 3 P's of
True.
the man that we speak about. Nobody speaks about where he needs to be heard, which is where it is, because they always come to you with the problem, and that's what probably all of our parents had. They were like seen as the figure that would
Yes.
solve the issue, right? So
Right.
you never really had your own voice to say, okay, what's bugging me,
Right.
What's going wrong with my world? How can somebody look at and help me today? So
Right.
that part never really happened, and
Yeah.
that's like, and that's a great thing that you're doing with this whole opening out, because I think that voice to be heard, the space to be heard, is something that most people really, really need out there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was actually talking to my mom about this whole thing as well, because especially here in Sri Lanka, where we lived in the States also, it's rare that you would have anybody talk about anything that they're going through.
Okay.
Where we grew up, you know what I mean? But here in Sri Lanka also, I feel like just like in the States, how you're supposed to be macho, you can't show weakness, because it's looked at as a weakness.
Yeah.
Right.
So even here, a lot of guys won't open up about things like that, because they'll be like, nah, I'm okay, macho. Like, I'm cool.
Yeah.
Like, don't worry about it, bro. Like,
Oh, I know.
I'll get over it, bro. Like, like that. And it's like, no, sometimes you're fighting so many demons that who knows, like, if something drastic happens, something traumatic happens again, and if you flip, that might be your, the time that you actually
And
lose
the
it.
way we solve problems in our Sri Lankan, the whole match, I think is, let's put a shot.
Right?
Let's go.
And it's almost like a panacea. It's if you are successful in something, go for a drink. If you are failing something, let's go for a drink. If you're just bored, let's go for a drink. It is that it becomes a crutch.
Yeah.
And I think that is only because if I say, hey man, look, these are all my problems, and start crying and break down, and then eventually tell you I love you also, and tell the person who's serving the drinks I love them also. At least the next day I have some dignity to say, I was really drunk. That wasn't me.
Yeah.
That was the album.
Oh, I
feel very
never thought of it
uncomfortable in
that
this
way. Okay.
At least I
Interesting.
blame it on the alcohol.
Blame it on the alcohol. No, but then again, the whole alcohol, it's not just Sri Lanka. I mean, it's in the States also. It's quite
in the
there.
States
Right? Let's go. Let's have a drink and talk about it.
I
yeah.
have some friends that like are proper gangsters, right? That do street activities. So and then,
Like sweeping the street and
like sweeping,
Like
you know
street
what I mean?
theater.
yeah.
fixing light bulbs. And,
breaking the trees, not even the ground. Right? So
Into very small parts.
only you know what I mean?
Breaking the tree into very small parts.
So, like, it's only when they drink, these emotions come up. And all of a sudden, they're with their girlfriend or their wife and stuff, and they're like, they're getting all teary eyed, and you're like, what's wrong with you? Nothing, fucker. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what you're looking at. Like, stop looking at me, dog. Like, you know, they get all emotional. I'm just thinking about shit, dog. Like, just thinking about shit. And, like, they'll go to a corner and they'll cry about it.
Oh,
They don't want anybody to see.
What you looking at, dude? That's funny. The way you described it was like straight out of a movie, also.
Yeah, because I mean, I have from both sides. I'm from Mexican, like Sureños, to Crips, Bloods. I know everybody, right? And when they drink, it comes out, and they get angry because it's coming out.
And they don't want to.
Feel like this, like, and they want to go punch somebody. That's what happens. That's why there's so many fights at clubs and stuff, because they get emotional and they're like, "What are you looking at? Why you looking at me?" Like, you know what I mean? Because
they're looking at you wrong.
They're
Yeah.
vulnerable now.
right.
Oh.
And that's the last thing they want to be seen as.
Last thing.
Dang. Okay.
Awesome.
Amanthi, you want to say anything?
That was like, moment. Like, you want to talk? I want to talk. I don't want to talk. I'm just so
work stress, you guys are.
Okay. Fine. I'll bring this all back. I got a question.
Let's go back.
Okay, so we're talking about struggles that men go through on a daily basis. So one of the things that I personally struggle with, and one of the things that Amanda is quite good at,
Life.
not life. Why do I pause? I just let myself. I just pause. Don't pause when I try to make a point. What it is body image. So body image. I mean, because I want to look nice and muscly and fit and all that.
Right.
But now there's like this whole with these superhero genre movies coming out. There's
the
this,
dad bod.
the dad is the dad bod still in? Because you have like
The Incredibles.
Huh?
The Incredibles.
The Incredibles?
Yeah, Mr. Incredible.
Dad
Oh
bod.
yeah, the dad bod.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dad
Mr.
bod.
Incredible.
Yeah, goddamn.
Yeah, but I mean, Incredibles is there, yes. But now, I mean, nowadays you have Chris Hemsworth, Chris. Who's the other Chris? Chris Evans. Who's the other Chris? There's another Chris.
Lock. John.
No.
Chris Rock.
Chris Pine. I don't know. Chris Rock.
Hemsworth, Evans.
Evans. Yeah, I said that. And then there's
Star-Lord.
Wolverine.
Pratt.
Oh, Chris
Pratt.
Pratt.
Chris Pratt,
Thank
that's
you.
Chris Pratt.
Chris Pratt.
A bit of a
And,
Pratt though, yeah.
He's a bit of a.
Chris Pratt.
Why am I blanking on the guy who plays
Hugh
Wolverine?
Jackman. You have John Cena. You have The Rock.
No,
you
you're
have
going to
Batista.
pronounce it all wrong. You don't say huge Ackman. It's Hugh Jackman.
He's huge, jacked man.
Jacked man.
Huge jacked man.
Huge Ackman.
And not just now, man, but then I think we also grew up with, like, I mean, I watched He-Man growing up and Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, yeah.
Those guys were
I
jacked
am
anyway.
He-Man.
Yes, by the power of Grayskull.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
Wow,
So
with the
I think
green
it's-
tiger.
And that haircut, man.
That's the one.
That's the one.
That kind of
Bowl cut.
Yeah.
I
Only he
had that
pulled it off.
too.
Only he could do that.
You had
because
I had it when I was tiny, bro. I had the
You
ball
did?
gag, yeah.
Oh, no, he could pull it off because he had the bod for it once
Yeah.
he became man.
But seriously, imagine walking into like 8th grade with that.
How did it not get picked on, man? But I think how it's funny is because there was such a big controversy with regards to Barbie, right? And how Barbie apparently has unrealistic body standards.
Yeah.
And they got plus size Barbie and this Barbie and that Barbie, that Barbie.
For a minute, I thought you were talking about the movie.
No.
Barbie.
But the doll itself, there was a lot of controversy
The
there.
doll stuff, yeah.
Girls had the option. I'm not saying that you're allowed of it. I'm not saying that y'all don't do it. I'm not saying that. Just listen. What I'm saying is, guys just had no choice. You either had that cartoon or you had Tom and Jerry.
Tom and Jerry was shit, though.
And man's timing up, bro. So you're not the
Yo.
run like Tom. Oh, look like Goku from Dragon Ball Z. There was no
Yeah.
in between. So we were always brought up with this is how guys should look. Like, should you want to save the girl? Should you want to be the superhero?
Yes.
And who does not want to be the superhero
Yeah.
of their own stories? This is what you should look like. And that pushes guys to, and I know that it pushes guys, the second you get off this whole natural thing and jump to steroids, that is the first, look, the first day you take a step in a gym is the day you start looking at yourself as fat. There'll never come a time you're like, oh, now I'm happy with the way I look.
Yeah.
And then it goes to the extreme of steroids. And steroids gets even more extreme and you get guys getting heart attacks at my age, 32, 33, 34.
Yeah.
Right? So now you can go on the rest of your question.
I forgot because you.
All right.
Hello?
No, the question is.
This happens when you save Brad. He paused, so I jumped to save the man, and
You didn't save anything.
More drowned, man. All right.
No, what I meant was, so me personally, I still struggle with it because, I want to get fitter, look better.
Right.
But again, the struggle I have is I don't have enough time or sometimes even the motivation to go to the gym and, maybe get the proper nutrition and all that. So a lot of guys have that. What is a way to sort of get out of it? Because I know it sounds easy. It's like, just go to the gym.
No.
It's just not as easy as that.
So could I answer this from an early generation? So as we moved on, what we realized was, or what I realized was from a personal perspective, look, I need to be fit. I need to stay healthy because end of the day, the whole provide aspect, we can't get away from that. I need to be around for my kids for a certain number of years to make sure that, they get what they want. So for me, it wasn't about, looking good and, being there because I anyway look good.
Hey,
Goddamn, all right.
John is over here.
So, but
Rico
seriously,
Suave.
yeah. Or Sidano, whichever way you look at it. Sinano, okay. So the idea was for me to stay fit, yes. So I limited myself to just being able to say, okay, look, I can walk 5K a day every morning, just to keep myself fit, just to keep my cardio levels up, just to make sure that I have that and that I don't basically, I'm not ashamed of the fact that I have a little bit of a pot belly here that I've got going because I'm comfortable with that. I'm comfortable with what I am and what I physically am at this point in time. Yeah. Do I want to be a bit fitter and have a little bit more stamina or strength? Yeah, but that's all. The end goal sometimes is not about me. For me, it's about being fit for the purpose of being there, having the longevity to see things through, so that I'm not like a doddering old man when I walk up for my son's graduation or whatever.
To walk your daughter down the aisle.
Yeah, that kind of thing. So that's a very old school kind of thinking, I know, but that's something that I grew up on because at the end of the day, I think we are the last stage of the romantics, if you will. I mean, there are some out there. I'm sure there are still some out there, so don't get offended. But the idea.
Thank you for clarifying that. But one or two of you guys just really need to chill. All right, go to the gym. Okay, go for it.
Don't get too worked up. But the fundamental of it, you need to be comfortable with this. So long as you don't dress in a way that is like you wear skin tight pants when you don't have the legs for it. Yes, and just dress to suit your body. I mean, there's nothing wrong with dressing to suit your body and working around that because it's about keeping yourself fit. I mean, there's an age of fitness, but like you said about steroids and stuff like that, that's a huge thing right now in sports, even at a school level and all of that. It's an unspoken thing. Yeah. And lots of people are now trying to address it, but I guess what people need to know is, look, your performance is going to be at that particular level, at that particular age group, or at that particular level of your life. So you need to adjust to that level. You know, I'm not going to be wrestling Hulk Hogan. Or actually, right now I could, because I think he's like not in a good way. But
okay now.
Yeah, correct. But you know what I mean, right? I mean, you need to have expectations of what you want to do in your life, and then that's what you work towards. Like, if you want to be a triathlete at 60, then go for it, man.
Yeah.
You know, work on it. But if you're not, then don't try to become that just because you want to look good when you walk into a bar or walk into, you know, a place, a social event or whatever.
Yeah. Plus, I think nowadays you get a lot more comparison because of social media.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God,
Like
yes.
everybody who's 20 on is just super jacked, and those are the guys that seem to be garnering a lot of attention. And as a human being, you would like attention. So you see, what is this guy doing? And then but then proper lighting, right? They just finished a workout. They just didn't eat for the photo shoot. And all these conditions fit in for them to take that one good picture that they would also go and edit twice or thrice.
Right, but what happens is other guys see this who don't look like that.
Right.
And they look at it and go, shit, I should probably look like this, because obviously he's getting a lot of likes on this. He's getting a lot of attention. If I look like that, maybe I'll also, you know, get that kind of attention, and I'll feel good about myself.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
in a way,
it's interesting that you brought up Hugh Jackman as well, because I mean, you listen to some of his video interviews that he's done. He keeps starting and saying, you know, people keep asking him, you know, how did you get so, you know, ripped for Wolverine and all of that. He starts off with saying, don't try this at home, because it's a very intense schedule that gets me there at this age.
Right.
So I basically starve myself for this, and then I take the fluids on at this age, and that's not something that's humanly possible for most of us, unless you're a career actor whose life depends on doing that role.
Where you have time to do that.
You have time to do that, right? So you maintain something that is manageable, so that you don't hit the peaks and the troughs.
Right.
Because if you try to keep it at a peak, you're bound to fail at a certain age if your lifestyle is different, and then you drop into a trough. So then your metabolism goes all haywire. From what I know, the little that I know about, you know, the physicality of people.
This gentleman here would also know something about that, because I know you go through something like that too, right?
So like Hetty said, it is my job though to look good.
Exactly.
Right.
So
I get paid for that.
Correct.
Right. And because it is my job and it is so variable, I do have the time for it. So, and if I don't make the time for it, and if I don't eat right, I don't get money.
Because it's a job. I think that is also a good thing for most guys to understand.
Yeah.
Because if your job depends on the fact that your fitness and the way you look, if your job depends on that, and then obviously you're going to take steps to do that.
Yeah.
Absolutely right.
I mean, if or not, it can be just, you know, for recreational purpose you want to go for the gym and just, you know, do a workout or not. But not everyone may have the ability to achieve that level.
They don't, right? Because I mean, you have a job and you have to do all these other things that come along throughout your day. But for somebody like you, it's different because you have to maintain.
You're also a model, just so you know. we model the same age, just so you guys.
Say. So that's that side of the table, and then there's
This side of the table. We got the good-looking people and the better-looking people.
But yeah, you were saying.
Well, yeah.
You were saying my modeling brother. Yeah, go for it. Say that's your shit.
So I mean, for us, we have to. Well, I would have to make time and like go
right,
because with radio, how it works is like I have my show in the evening, but if I'm on full time, and then I have all these other things going on because I'm trying to start a restaurant and all these things too. So I have so much of things going on. I wake up in the morning and I go for my run and I drink my candle and stuff like that. But I gotta make time to go to the gym, and then I don't get to see my son a lot either. So I have to make time for that. So many things, and I can't be consistent with it.
Nice.
I think consistency is one thing that you need
consistency.
to have.
Okay, you kind of brought me to a segue. You segued into something else that I want to discuss on today's episode. But before that, I heard this somewhere. I can't remember where. Maybe on a TikTok, maybe on some other podcast. that I've been watching.
He looked at it. If it's a good thing, it's on my social media. You can follow me on Amanda. Yeah, there you go. But yeah, go first.
Thanks for the plug. But you know what happens, right? When you work out every day and eat healthy and you make sure you're getting your steps in and you're in a calorie deficit and doing all the things that to be healthy and fit. You know what happens, right? You just die healthier.
Definitely not for mine. He watches some garbage. If you want some really good content, follow him.
That went down real fast.
I will, however, go out on a limb and say this, right? A lot of the primary CEOs that you see, from Musk to Zuck to the guy who does Amazon as well.
Jeff Bezos?
Bezos, right.
The guy who does Amazon.
Yeah, that dude.
Amazon guy.
That was like, the delivery company. Yeah. Drives a van and shit. A lot of these guys are really, really getting in shape. And if you see, I think he was at the Elon Musk or Jeff Bezos, from what he was when he first started Amazon to what
Jeff
he is
Bezos.
right now. Yeah. Right, I guess Hitachi is going. But
So would you say it's an Amazon change?
it's an Amazon change.
Amazon change.
So I would say.
I like it. Fist pump.
Wow.
Did you guys at my age, I get short. I see the fit. Oh, he's there. Okay, fine. Yes.
I don't even know where to go with that. Yeah.
I'm just gonna chalk it up to generational gap.
I will say that a lot of them do prioritize health and take it to as far as they can. Zuck is now doing, I think, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as well as boxing and this. Yeah. They're all really, really involved in it. I'm not sure if Elon Musk is doing too much, but I know that the rest of them are. So I do know there's a good correlation between success and being fit. I think that's because the second you start working out, man, you feel good, therefore you do good, the dopamine release and all that factors in. I also know that countries that are high performing have less fat people. So, for example, if you take Japan, which is one of the countries with the lowest fat percentages from what I know.
But isn't that due to their diet also?
That is one thing. They also have this thing called a fat tax.
Yeah.
What?
The fat tax is a tax imposed by the government onto companies, so not onto you as an individual. If you're his boss, I will tax you for keeping your employees not in shape.
What?
Yeah.
That. Right? So it is in your best duty, otherwise this tax just increases for you. It's in your best duty to make sure this fucker's in shape.
How does that work?
Because that way, he's not a strain on my resources as the government. I don't spend on his welfare and his medical
on the
bills.
health
and all that shit.
service, on the
What
national
about
medical
that?
service.
Fuckers running and jumping and all this. So that's why they
Why is that all?
Because you're the one who just said I don't have time for gym. So now Raz,
Minority of one.
now it's this side of the table and then
Side
that.
of the table, and then there's you. You, right there.
All alone.
So do you feel like companies there then would have gyms in their...
It doesn't get to that extent, man. I mean, they do work out, but I would also say that a lot of them, their food dietary-wise is very, very rationed. Right? They don't have the
That's
Sri Lankan.
true, yeah.
The Sri Lankan, if you go to a Batkade, it is paripu chicken, something else, godu-kola, and like rice. right. They serve that plate of rice with another plate is what you need to know. It's a plate and a plate and a tabak another. So they have very, very small, like if you go to a Japanese restaurant and order the bento box, that is more or less what they get there. They get a portion of rice, which is that much. Enough protein to sustain you, maybe a vegetable 2 or 3. That's it. That's all you get. And that is more than enough for you. You don't need the 2,000, 3,000 calories that your mom thinks that you're a bodybuilder, that you need to be taking part in a competition that she feeds you every day.
Right.
You just
I like how you went with that.
So are you saying that there's a starch contrast to the carbohydrate?
Starch. Today's wordplay is brought to you by Tushara Hettiamu. Not even me this time.
My God.
Good. I like that.
Starch contrast.
So there is a huge correlation with success, mental health, and men in general. I think as a guy, it was Socrates or Aristotle who said it's a shame for a man to go his life without knowing what his body is capable of. Yeah.
Wow.
So, bottom line in this whole body image issue for the guys out there mainly, if you are still struggling and if you do want to take some sort of measures, first thing is diet. Maybe?
Yes, that
Second
is
thing
one
exercise?
thing. But then just do the minimum required thing, like he said. If
Go
5
for a
kilometers
walk.
is too much, walk 1. Like, do something.
Do something, yeah.
Yeah, as opposed to just saying, I generally go to gym in the morning. I miss the morning window. Hey, Raj, here you go. Here's a pen. You can write shit down.
In the morning.
Take notes.
Taking notes.
No, but I agree with you on the exercise factor, and because I agree with you, the attention factor that comes in when you are, more in peak in physical fitness level.
Yeah.
I mean, when you have a workout in the morning, you are mentally more alert. You are ready to take on work.
Of course, yeah.
Everything. I don't know what kind of endorphins produced, but endorphins, I believe so. There are certain chemicals that are released in your body that affect your brain and how you function. So your overall ability to function as a human being definitely increases.
Depends on that, yeah, absolutely. And then first thing in the morning, if you work out and then go to work, right? You basically start peak. You're taking it's like a cheat before you start work, because everybody else will start base. Hey, Raz, don't worry. Raz, we're not talking about you anymore, Raz, right? It's just every time you do something, it becomes about you. All right?
No, because I had this conversation, and I hate waking up in the morning to work out.
Really?
I hate waking up early morning anyway.
Well, some people just want to win in life, and some people just want to make excuses. So I guess. So guys, anyway, about circles.
So what would you say about like people?
Yeah, just hold on. He's got it.
I take the knife out.
All right, there you go. Yeah, thank you.
What would you say about like morning people, and like, there are people that would say, I'm a morning guy,
right?
I'm a morning person, and then people like, I like to sleep in the morning.
To be fair, apparently that was scientifically proven that some people are morning people and some people are whatever the middle one of that, and some people are night people. But then don't make the excuse not to go to gym, you fucker.
Because I just wake up in the morning.
All right, so then
Just 5:30, 6 o'clock.
Oh.
My body will wake up and I can't go back to sleep.
I've got a
No
unique
way.
solution for this. The world has 24-hour time zone. Move to a time zone that makes you a morning person.
Wow.
there you go. Actually,
Wait.
Hold on.
back in time.
Hold on. This has created a whole bunch of other questions in my head right now.
Also, if you Google Andrew Huberman,
What?
Andrew Huberman,
Okay.
he's a very well-known psychologist. No, he's a physiologist and a biologist and all this neurosurgeon and all this shit. He has a lot of I know all of them, right?
Lots of letters after his name.
Yes. But he does have this thing where he addresses how to reprogram your circadian rhythm if you want to be a morning person. And that is something from the lines of bright light early in the morning. So sunlight you need to start working out, you need coffee and something else. You do that for 3 or 4 days. First day you feel like shit, second day not so bad, third day you automatically adapt to that. So Andrew Huberman, the things it takes to become a morning person. Maybe we can.
I hate coffee, so that's not going to work.
It's just, as I said, right? Some people wake up to success, some people just for excuses, man. I hate coffee. I hate waking up in the morning. No. All right.
Or drink 4 liters of water before you go to bed, because then you have to get up to pee at 4
Because of there you go.
That's
Wow. That's actually a great idea. That's a great method. Okay. Before all of this now, oh Lord. Holy shit, what long walk for a short drink of water, right?
I think I'm good with that.
What I wanted to ask was, you were talking about balancing your day with all the work that you do. Like you gotta wake up in the morning. Obviously you gotta wake up in the morning. You gotta go to the gym. You have work. You have to see your son. And that's one of the things that guys also struggle these days, because we are doing a lot. Not that the ladies aren't either, but from a guy's perspective, to keep the bread on the table, the proverbial bread on the proverbial table, there are a lot of things we do. The hustle. It's not just work. Maybe a project, maybe hobbies, other things that make the person happy. But all of these things have to be balanced, and this is where you the guys usually find it takes a toll on them, because you have to balance family with work versus maybe gym and other hobbies.
Yeah. It's interesting because he used a term earlier when he was speaking about that, which is, he said, I have to make time.
Right.
You can't make time. You have an infinite amount of time. You have a finite amount of time.
Yeah.
There's no infinite amount of time. You can't manufacture time. So it's about what we call time management. So
Right.
then that's where your day becomes much more planned, much more work, and that's very difficult when you're in this whole gig economy, like I told you earlier, right? Where
Raz, don't look at me, Raz. Don't look at me like that's some excuse.
No, he pointed at you. I looked at you. I'm just following his finger.
Like I was talking to you earlier before we started about that. Not that I'm making a comment about you or whatever.
Raz is like,
Right? Yeah, it's my turn now. Amanda.
So yeah, getting back to the whole point, you can't make time. So it's about how you then segregate the time that's available to you
Right.
to make it come. I mean, you can't say, for instance, your son. You can't be home at 2:00 in the morning and expect to make time for your son.
I love you, darling.
Right. That's the time I have for you. So you make the time around the people, and that's where the hardest challenge is. Because if you're going to be doing the gig work, and if you're going to be there, so if you say you're hosting an event, you finish off at 11 o'clock or whatever, and then you come home, then you probably needed to have made time for the whatever you needed to do before that. So then otherwise there's always a sense of catch up, of trying to do, and then there's a sense of unfulfillment that comes with that as well, because then you're like the next day you're wondering, okay, I could have done this better, I could have done that better.
Right.
Then it's always a sense of catch up,
Oh,
catch
yeah.
up, right?
That's
So
where
you
I'm
did
at.
that.
Yeah.
So
It's
that's
catching up and feeling like, man, I could have done that differently, or I could have approached that differently. I could have, man, I could. I understand what you're saying when you say make time.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as making time.
Yeah.
Because you have time.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
Indeed.
at the same time, with everything that's going on within the day, it's hard to fit in those slots. Like, when do I go? Okay, now if I go here, I might not be able to make this.
Correct.
You know.
And that's the opportunity cost that you have. I mean, that's
And see, the thing with me is I suffered with addiction as well, like badly, and I got out of it, and I was like more, I want to say, like ashamed to be around people that loved me, because they would see me in a different light then.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because they would see my face and they'd be like, already see like, hey, what's wrong with you? What happened? Are you all right? Like, because it changes you, right? So even with my son, I would feel like, how can I go? It sucked. So I would make excuses.
Right.
You know what I mean?
to not be there, to not be seen there, I guess,
My gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting take. It is about time management in the end, and how well you are, or rather how good you are at it, which apparently I am not.
Don't believe me. I mean, neither am I. I mean, we all have this whole thing about trying to make time. I mean, I'm great at, pontificating, getting on the soapbox, but I suck at actually getting it done. So I'll be very honest with you on that one as well.
Well, I am awesome.
Yay, round of applause.
Round of applause. Yes. So okay,
I will push it to this extent then. One of the biggest names that came on in terms of masculinity and strength and all that will be David Goggins. All right, David Goggins was a Marine who, I think at the age of 32 was, he found himself to be really overweight, and he was just a cockroach, like a pest control agent. And then he found himself at a really low in life, right? And then what he did was, I think he was watching TV and he saw an ad for the Marines. And he was like, that's what it means. That's what it means to be an actual man. It has to be something like this, because it was them promoting one of the campaigns they were having, or one of the things they were doing, and he saw the guys there and thought, holy shit, this is what it is. It can't be this, what I was. So then he pushed himself to become a Marine.
Right.
And then he has, after that, he has done a lot of his missions and whatnot, and touring countries or whatever it is. But then after that, he became private security, and now he's more known for being the guy who just doesn't give up, right? In that he has run Iron Marathon after Iron Marathon after Iron Marathon after triathlon after Iron Marathon, almost 100 at a stretch or some shit like that. There's some ridiculous amount. I think he at one point, which was beaten recently or something, had the record of the most amount of pull-ups also done in a day.
Yikes.
Right. And he was so unhinged that he was just listening to the one song on repeat, which was the Rocky Balboa theme song.
Oh gosh. Shout out to you, Yoshi.
Hey, Yoshi.
Oh my gosh.
So he's a big advocate of you have to hold yourself accountable doing this shit. And sometimes that just means you got to suck it up. While we're on this side saying sometimes theory is like, dude, just suck it up and do it, might be detrimental. What are your thoughts on just suck it up and being a beneficial thing?
Yeah, I think there's, like you rightly said, there's two sides to that whole thing that you mentioned. You can walk the easy path and say, look, rely on your sensitivity and say, look, I can't do this, it's difficult for me, and, go down that path. Or you can go down this. So walking that edge, realizing that, look, life is hard, man.
Right.
Life is never going to be easy, right? Unless you're born with the golden spoon.
Yeah, unless you're born in royalty or something, yeah.
Yeah, right? It really isn't easy for any of us, right? No inherent wealth handed down from generation to generation. I don't think that's there in this foyer. We've never had that part of, we've always had to work. I remember my first job, I was earning $2,500 a month, right, when I started out. Worked my way through university because that was the only way I could go through university. Even though it was a free education system, you still had to buy your books, you still had to do your assignments, there's expenses involved in that.
While doing theatre for free?
While doing theatre for free, indeed, and making sure that I finish my work, go for my practices for the uni team, then run over to college to make sure that you buggers were trained. Right? So I walk in my rugby boots sometimes into the rehearsals. Right?
I remember that.
So, that was but that was when the energy was at a high and all of that. So, it's not easy, right? It's not easy. So, I agree with you that in certain instances you need to toughen up and you need to suck it up. You can't always rely on just, letting things go and all of that, because nobody gives you things for free.
Yeah.
Right? There is no free ride. There's nothing that you get out of life in any circumstance. Believe you me, in any circumstance that you don't have to work for. And if you're getting it, it's not worth having.
Yeah. Fair enough. Absolutely.
Right. Right, so and that's something that I've been. So yeah, I do agree that in certain situations, suck it up is actually something you need to do, because you need to toughen up, because the world's not going to be there to guide your pathway. Right. You need to make sure that you line your own pathway, and you sometimes carve your own pathway or mine your own pathway, if you will. And that's something that you really need to. So if you're looking at it from a perspective of being able to toughen up, or as they say, man up. Yeah. I think that's something that's absolutely right, and that needs to happen.
And in that sense, when we say man up, we don't necessarily mean, you got to be like a man. No, it means toughen up.
We just goes back to being human, right? And being strong enough to deal with, everything that life throws at.
Because that's, in the end, that's life. Whether you find it difficult, or whether you're offended, or whether you get your feelings hurt, it's all part of life. Yeah. You have to figure out how to move on from that.
I work in HR, right? I've done my work in HR, human resources. I think also that's a misnomer. It just stops HR. You say I work in HR, it's like I work in human resources. Sounds like you're a human trafficking or something like that. But it's not. It's really human resource management. And I always tell people that working in HR is like pissing in black pants. It feels good for you while you're doing it, but nobody really notices.
Right.
When's the last time you walked up to your HR guy and said, I am having a great day.
I have never heard that analogy ever. Pissing in black pants.
Pissing in black pants.
Wow.
That's almost as good as a...
We'll all go try that, right? You have a favorite pair of black pants, take a piss in it on.
See how many people notice. No, don't do it. Don't do it. We're not endorsing pissing in pants.
We don't advocate that, although the laundry trade will thank you for it. But but seriously, it's so there are certain areas where it's kind of thankless. The tasks that you have to do are kind of thankless, but you still have to go through them anyway. And it's not because that you're going to gain some massive global recognition out of it or whatever, but these are tasks that need to be done.
Shit just has to be done.
Yeah, shit just needs to get done.
Right.
And that's not something that's going to, take care. You see, for want of a better analogy, you want to see Sangakkara out there scoring a double hundred or whatever. You think, oh, that's great. But you don't see the countless number of hours he spent at getting that to where he can do it.
Yeah.
And, that's the thankless part of it.
Yeah.
That's the getting up at 4 o'clock or going to sleep at 11 o'clock or getting up at 4 o'clock sunrise.
Yep, I
You
saw
got
that.
that?
You know, I got
Getting
that.
up
I'm going to write that
Yeah,
down. Where's
yeah,
the pen?
yeah.
Mazak?
I got you, bro.
And then,
Yeah, because once again, if you're really going to make time,
Yeah.
that's how you make the time.
That's how you make the time, Rats. That's right. That's how I make time.
Your 9 o'clock start now becomes a 4 o'clock start. You already made 5
I-
hours.
Thanks.
Congratulations, you made time.
But I want to. You said an interesting word, the thankless part of it.
Yeah.
Would you say? I mean, you also DC, Washington DC. I don't know. I said
West,
like that.
West.
Wouldn't you say that most of what guys usually go through, a guy's journey, a day or a month, in a week or month or year, most of it is also thankless. Like we do our job, but do we get thanked for it? I mean, there are people who do, but
I like how
in
we
general,
had to keep clarifying this.
we're not gonna clarify, okay? If you don't like it, don't.
Tough
just-
shit.
Tough shit.
Tough shit.
Well, there is Father's Day.
There is Father's Day, but that's after what? What was it, Amanda?
So we checked, all right? And apparently
There are so many Father's Days.
Father's Day is the 20th or 30th most famously celebrated holiday.
Yeah.
Mother's Day is number 2.
Number 2.
Yeah. And if you think about it, right? Mother's Day is a day that's generally planned. Like, what are you going to do for Mother's Day? All right, we're going to get this. Father's Day, you get a pair of socks.
I was just going to say socks,
Tie.
tie, shirt,
Shirt.
to office shirt also. Not like a going out shirt.
So yeah, that the whole thankless part of
Being a man.
being a man. I mean, is it? Do you see it changing, or is it kind of still the same, or at least a little bit better than it was? How do you guys feel about that?
From a male perspective, if you're talking about being a man per se, I think, I think now it's a point of where we are talking about almost like putting up the walls and saying, no, I'm okay to be a man.
Right.
Right, I'm comfortable to be a man right now. Look, this is me being a man, and look, I don't want to offend you, but I'm a man. I think that's where we're going, honestly.
Actually,
To be
It's almost a crime to be a
And we
man.
shouldn't even have to do that. Though.
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm just saying because like we have been painted as this picture from back in the day.
Yeah.
So then, if this is what you want us to be, we are going to be that. But then, like that is what we're taught to be, right? Even I mean, I'm talking about art, like my age group also, and even yours. Your dad, how you saw your dad.
Yeah.
That is a man too. For me, it was my dad, and you know, you have these things that happen from your small age that you think is normal,
Right.
And you think that is how you're supposed to be. Say, even if it was a toxic situation, you might not want to be like that. You say in relationships, but it comes out like that in tough situations.
Yeah.
So now, like in your household, I don't know how your mom and dad were, but like in mine, it was pretty rocky. So I try not to be like that. I try to give as much as I can to the person I'm with, but then, and they expect you to be a certain way also.
Yeah.
So now me being married, I'm married twice. And
Okay.
they expect you to be this great, like, set in stone man.
Thor, the
that
god of
they're-
thunder.
That they have been taught who a man is supposed to be.
Yeah.
But they're not trying to understand who you are.
Correct. Yeah.
I
think
mean,
now
is
we
it
then
is it
try
fair to say?
live-
I don't know.
Live
No,
out the
that makes sense.
stereotype is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
pretty
Yeah.
much,
Yeah.
And the irony behind that would be the fact that at a young age, a boy would be taught either by his mother or his sister. I know I was how to treat a girl, but the father would never treat the daughter or teach the daughter how to treat a man.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
And that's so true.
Interesting coming from the one guy who's unmarried, no kids.
No, but that's so true though.
That is true.
That is true, yeah.
And even the whole concept of, walking a woman down the aisle and,
Oh, yeah,
handing
yeah.
over,
Yeah.
right? Handing over the reins, as it were. Right? She's quite capable of walking down her own
Her
aisle.
own.
Right?
Go to yourself.
No, you go ahead.
What's your dad making about that? I will tell you guys this as well, right? So I have brought this point up once before, and a lot of girls came to the defense and said, no, in countries like Sri Lanka, You're taught to how to treat a husband, right? Or a boyfriend. Yes, but then how we extended that was, if at any time a girl was coming close to a door, you stop, you open the door for her.
What?
If your colleague is going home at night, girlfriend, colleague, whatever it is, you wait until the taxi comes, then you tell the taxi man,
you
drop her home safely.
Yeah.
And then you find your own taxi.
It's part of being chivalrous.
Yes. But now what's happening is this concept of why do I need you to do that for me? I can do it for myself. And while that we completely understand and more power to you. But what that does is that keeps the guy very confused as to now I don't know what I'm supposed to do because
Do I open the door? Do I shut the door?
Exactly.
Do I?
And I think also if you and this happened to me after dance class the other day.
Really?
This happened to me after I saw
One day at dance class.
one day at dance class because so we do dance class at Granville.
Yeah.
Grambel.
Right.
This
shout
is
out to Annie's dance class. You guys want to learn social dancing, including that terrible
Dance
cha-cha-cha
Station by
nonsense?
Annie.
Terrible cha-cha-cha nonsense.
Cha-cha-cha is awesome.
Whatever it is, all right? I saw a foreigner and a girl. She was trying to get a tuk, all right? And I saw these tuk-tuk guys. No offense to tuk-tuk guys. I'm not shaming them or bringing them down. They're trying to make a living for themselves.
Of course.
But they will come and say, oh, miss.
Yeah.
And I know I saw this girl like taking like 2 steps back into the hotel. But there was a part of me that wanted to jump in there and say, hey, are you okay? How can I help? And be of service. I don't know if that's a human thing. Is that humanity come into play? Is that chivalry come into play? I don't know. But I do know that if I see something like that, if I see an old grandmother trying to cross the crossing, I will jump.
Yeah.
I will definitely.
And I stand there in the middle of the street until she makes it across.
Yes.
Or I will walk with her, and I would make sure. But then wait, and then make sure old grandma or old uncle even doesn't matter.
Anybody, yeah.
Yeah.
And I'll make sure that they make it across.
And then you get the
But if
badge.
I'm in a rush,
And then
it
you get the
doesn't
badge for the scouting.
I
Yeah.
think that's a value
Get my
system, right?
badge.
It's nothing to do with being a man or being a woman or being whatever. I think it's a value system that we. It's a human value system
Yeah,
that we are talking
exactly.
about.
Okay.
Like you may be built on it, I may not be built on it, right? I may have been taught of that as a child, or I may not have been given this idea. Where I mean, like you get up and give your seat to someone,
Yes.
even in a crowded bus, right? Even in this day, and people just look at you like you as if you're like, how are you doing, right?
Yeah.
But they don't understand it. But that shouldn't stop you from doing it.
Right.
That shouldn't stop you from
It
because
shouldn't.
it's your again. I'm sorry to bring in a little bit of Buddhism into this. It's like Chetana Hambikave Kammam Vadami. What your thought process behind your action is what matters,
Right.
not the action itself.
Exactly.
Right, so it's not about I'm not opening the door so that I can watch your ass as you go past. I'm
Right.
opening the door because I genuinely want to help you get through the door.
Right.
Because I see you carrying a bag, I see you handling something, right? And that's my intent. So my intent defines my action.
Yeah.
It's nothing to do with me being someone else or me trying to be a man or me trying to gain ascendancy over you.
Yeah.
It's just me being me.
Right.
Right, and I don't see anything wrong with that. And you may reject it, and then I will apologize and realize I shouldn't be doing that for you.
For you,
particular person that
No,
did that to
it's-
me.
it's-
But that's not something against all womankind or whatever other gender kind that you want. I would still do that for the
Right.
next person that I see.
It's a
I would
random
still do
act
that
of
way.
kindness.
Yeah, it's a random act of kindness.
I think for anybody, right?
Yeah, for
would put
anyone.
I mean, the perfect example would be like the lift.
Yeah.
You see anybody coming, and they're like, "Hey, just." And
Hold the
you're
lift,
not gonna
yeah.
be like, close.
It's closing. I'm so sorry. I can't stop it.
Oh man! Like,
The door's closing. I'm sorry. I'm doing goodbye.
And then they click the button. It opens.
I'm legally blind.
Okie dokie. Ahmad, do you have any questions? We actually want to head to the final segment because it's 1 hour, 20 minutes.
I pushed up this question on IG and I asked people if there was a question you wanted to ask guys for being guys, what would that question be? And I have 25 damn questions. So the question is, if the topic was about men, what is one question you've always wanted to ask? All right?
Okay.
So I will ask you, handsome gentlemen, including you, Reds.
Oh, what?
And I'll start with you,
Wait,
Reds.
what? No, why? Why is that happening?
Reds, why do you think guys today...
Wait, are we actually doing this? Hold on.
Yeah,
Aren't we doing the whole 10-second thingy? No?
not just you.
Just me? Fine, all right, let's do it.
Yeah,
We'll all take turns.
I'm ready, yo. Let's go. No, let's go.
We all, I mean the three of you.
I'm ready.
Oh yeah.
Why do you think? What can I ask?
I'm
That's
thinking.
like a really
I'm
hard
thinking.
question.
I gotta go in here. My wheels are working. Everything
Rats.
is.
My palms are sweaty.
Yeah, my palms are sweaty. Knees weak.
Rats, why do men put so much attention at the start and then ghost the girl later when we fall?
And I'm gonna go bye. No.
What?
So wait, say that again.
Why do men put so much attention at the start of a relationship and then ghost the girl later? I don't know what when we fall means. I think when they falter.
When they fall for the
when
guy.
They fall for you.
Oh, yeah.
When you finally conconquered them and all of that. Like, the conquest and the...
I was okay. So to sort of preface this, I've never been that guy. I can't just ghost. I don't
Don't
ghost.
be shy. It's okay. We
No,
know you want
no.
to play out
Hey.
from what part of USA were you, Manli?
San
Diego.
Sandy shows.
That's the one, yeah.
Sandler.
Sandy shows.
Adams.
Adam Sandler. Okay, so for guys who do that, the idiots. I don't know why they would do that, but I think it's the whole. It's a I guess a primal sort of instinct. Where you have the thrill of the chase, and then you finally, you conquer your target, or not conquer your target. Those are the wrong words. I mean, you get what you want.
No,
You
but
finally get the
actually, I
thing.
think those are the right words. I mean, let's call a spade a spade. I mean,
A spade is a spade.
a guy who does that, not a utensil for just digging up earth. Yeah. See, for guys who do that, that is exactly what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be very honest about that. It is the chase and the conquest that matter to them, and then after that, they just need to move on to the next chase
one,
and
yeah.
the next conquest.
Yeah. And doesn't
that's how they're hardwired. That's how they're coded, and that doesn't mean that it's every guy, but there are guys
Exactly.
like that,
It's
and
not
that's
every
something that
guy.
we need to be open to that.
So to that person, I say, I mean, if you find yourself in that situation, remove yourself from the situation. Say bye-bye to that guy, and
But they wouldn't even know that it's happening like that. Right?
But I mean, obviously they do because they're asking the question.
Okay. Hetty, let me ask you, why do guys, it's today, okay, it's TDY. Why do guys today prioritize sex over love? It's just one part of the whole thing. And Manisha also says, same question, why do some men prefer hookups over serious relationships nowadays?
So, to be very honest, thank you for thinking I'm part of that generation of guys.
I mean, you're Rad's friend, I could just figured, yeah.
But I answered. But let me
What's
answer.
that supposed to be? Hold on, wait. Sideways shade thrown. Hold on.
momento, por favor.
Yeah.
What about Captain USA? Yeah, you were saying.
So I think it's an inability to commit, and it's basically almost symptomatic of ADHD, attention deficiency, the ability to continue with it. Right? I mean, you lose interest. I mean, you lose interest, and you find that it's far easier to have the hookup aspect of it, and to have like the so-called one night stand, or maybe the two night stand if it's worthwhile and all of that, rather than to just commit to a relationship. Because a relationship, or the concept of love, the other four-letter word, is a lot of commitment. It's a lot of giving. It's a lot of give and take. It's not about. I've always maintained something. You love someone in spite of, not because of.
Nice.
Right? That's something that I believe in very, very strongly. Because once you get to know a person, once you get to know, yes, that the guy you're going out with is definitely going to piss on the toilet seat, right? You can love him in spite of that. Yeah, that's where love comes in, right? Not because of, right? Not because he gives you flowers, not because he's always there for you, not because he's opening doors, but
In spite of the stupid shit he does.
In spite of the stupid shit he does, in spite of the stupid shit he does, or they do, right? If you can do that, that's when love comes in, and that's a whole lot of work, man.
Yeah.
That's a whole lot of work. That's an ability to step back from your ego and say, okay, look, I'm not happy with this, but I still have enough of a thing going with you to say, I'm okay to carry on with it in spite of that. I know I'm not going to be able to change you. I know you're going to smoke in the room. I know you're going to do that. I know you're going to do this. But in spite of all of that, I still think we can make it work. And that's where love comes in.
I love that.
Got a sex man is...
That's so good.
If some girl comes to you boys and says that, in spite of all the stupid shit you do, I love you. You keep that girl. You hold on. You do
Absolutely.
not let her go.
She's a keeper, man. Or he's a keeper. If
I
that's the way.
really, I really
Either way,
messed
that
up
partner
there,
is a
yeah.
keeper.
I really messed up there. Yeah. I really did, yeah.
Oh my God, man.
So mad.
Those are the eye-opening moments. Yeah, that's so, bro. DC, my man.
Yeah.
What does a man look for in a girl?
This is someone asking.
Yeah, that's all this thing. I'm just gonna
What is
trim
a
out the good
man-
ones.
What is it? Wow. Look for the girl.
Personally, I like a girl with a big heart.
You know what I'm saying? a big heart. You know.
I mean, the personality.
Just yeah.
But yeah, sure, okay, yeah, go for it.
Yeah, just get it off your chest. Yeah.
I'm gonna get cancelled so fast. All right.
I would say, wow. Me, I would say, wow.
This-
Com-
what-
comfort
Whatever.
came to my mind.
Comfort?
Comfort. Like,
Comfort.
as in your mental
Mental peace.
peace.
Oh, that makes sense. I think that's one of the biggest things.
Yeah, because I didn't want it to sound like comfort as in like, you know what I
You're
mean?
comfortable with the person.
Yeah.
No, that's not
Nah.
it. Yeah, it's not like you're settling for the person.
Like I'm so good with you. Like I need you because I need to be okay here and you make me feel
Oh.
She's a safe space.
yes.
And
There you
she
go, safe
calms you down. Safe space. Okay,
Yeah.
there you go. So that's one of the major ones I'd say also.
That's great.
That's a good one.
Because where do you find that nowadays?
That's a great
That
question.
is
I have
the
no
question.
fucking idea.
I mean,
I know a couple of good websites.
Just just well,
we go to www.
wow.
Okay, I will flip the script and ask you, why do you think women lose interest in men when they give them too much attention?
You're asking me that?
I'm asking you that. You got to ask him the complicated one.
You're asking the wrong person, dude, because I don't know.
Because women don't ghost me. I get it, Raz, all right? Congratulations on the whole marriage thing. Good for you. But why, to other people, do you feel women lose interest in men when they give them too much attention?
When guys give the girl.
give women too much attention.
That's actually a really
I don't know, because
I've never given anybody attention in my life. I'm
No,
selfish.
I honestly don't understand why that happens, because it happened to me only once and then I kind of gave up on that.
Ooh, must be nice. Okay.
But and I didn't want to try and understand. Maybe also for them it's the all right. I got it now. For them also maybe to them also it's like all right. That's the goal of all right. I have the person's attention now. I want someone else's attention. Maybe I don't know.
boredom.
Do you guys believe in that the nice guy finishes last?
Oh God, yes.
Oh yeah.
Hey, here, there you go. I saw his face going.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
What about you, Hedley?
Not necessarily. I think it's a lot to do with what you're looking for. In the same way in the earlier one about the conquest and the ghosting part of it, it's what everyone is looking for in a relationship. So you need to find the right person with the right kind of thing. That's where the matchup comes, and that's where the other four-letter word comes into play. Right. So
All these four-letter words.
You can't generalize it. Yeah.
you can't generalize it.
Yeah.
It can change from person to person very much. So a girl will find the attention that you're giving a little bit cloying. Maybe she's not ready for that kind of level of relationship or intimacy in the relationship, or maybe she's not as willing to reveal what she wants to reveal at that point in time, and she's look, I need my space. Maybe it's someone who simply likes her personal space, so doesn't like the flowers at morning, midnight, noon, serenading outside the window, that kind of thing, right? Because the neighbors get antsy. So all those things can happen, right? So it's the level of relationship that each person is looking for, right? So it can happen to a man,
That's
it
true.
can happen to a woman, it can happen to anyone. So if you're not ready for that kind of level of attention in a relationship, then that's when this kind of syndrome, if you will, takes place. And I guess
You should be a shrink. You don't have to shrink.
Why?
No, but you should be like a shrink, like a therapist.
pretty well hung.
Yeah, I was like, why is he looking down?
Yeah, he just looked down. It's like shrink.
Not
okay.
gonna touch it.
Yeah, don't touch it.
That's the point.
Yeah.
Okay, Hedy, then why in today's modern world do we as men still struggle to ask for help? I mean, we discussed this before as well on the podcast stuff, but like a quicker take.
Okay, a very quick take on this, going back to what we talked about earlier. it's a level of machismo. It's about, you know, the three P's that I spoke about: the provider, the protector, the, you know, problem solver thing, right? We don't have that space, or we don't have that opening sometimes
Right.
to go and ask for help, because we are always in most instances, we are always in that kind of relationship, we are always the people who are solving the problem. So I can't really go out and ask for help because it's not in me. So in certain people, it'll be more bravado and machismo, and they'll try to bludgeon their way out of it by bullying, by pushing people aside, by saying, you know, nah, you don't know jack shit about what you're talking about, man. You know, this is what I do. But
Right.
deep down inside, you know, look, I haven't got a handle on this. I need to put my hand up and say I can do that, and then find the kind of circle that will say, forget about it, let's go and put a drink. But you know, that kind of thing, we need to find that kind of support, and that is something that I find becoming more prevalent now. But it's mostly to do with the fact that we are afraid of failure.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Damn.
My God. Mind
And
blown.
so we don't take
Mind's
the risk.
blown.
Yeah.
That's why?
I mean,
We don't take the
admitting
risk.
that we need help is
Yeah.
saying that, look, I have failed. I don't know what to do. And it just puts me up and says,
I think also what guys don't understand is, and this is for anybody who might be struggling with this, you asking somebody for help would be, instead of it being seen as failure, it is you still trying to succeed in something, because you're saying, okay, if I don't have the answer, maybe somebody else does, so I'm not letting go of this. If people saw it more that way as opposed to thinking I'm a failure, maybe people would ask, guys.
I
especially.
think instead of thinking I've failed so much, now I have to go for someone else.
Yeah.
Asking for help, as in like guidance.
Guide,
And-
yeah, anything
yeah,
really.
like
whether
advice.
it's an actual task, anything
Yeah,
like that.
not like, you know, because I've had plenty of friends that would come and be like, "Hey, bro, is it cool? Can I borrow this? Can I get this from you? Can I hold something?" As in financially.
Oh, okay.
And they would say it's for this and that, but then, you know, they're kind of stuck in the same rut, and you're like, "Bro, you could have just asked me like what you wanted to do, and I would have helped you
Yeah,
out with
fair
that."
enough.
yeah.
Like, if you needed some help, I would have had some people that maybe could have helped you with that.
Right.
Just ask what it is that you want, you know,
Exactly.
to do.
Yeah. Instead of Okay.
Without
Okay.
being like, "Hey, can I get like 50K from you? I need to get this done," you know?
Yeah, I know. That's
Because
that's
that you just start depending on that after a
Yeah.
while.
and that builds a dependency that is
Yeah.
built on our inability to get down to the root cause of what we're actually struggling with.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So one of them could be we are really bad, we are piss poor at financial management.
Yeah.
Because of that, we just keep on borrowing and get into this cycle of endless debt and, you know, just
Yeah.
cadging off friends, as it were,
Yeah.
right? Which is something that can be a very, very steep downward spiral. And then you end up in a debt cycle that you can't really deal with,
And
or
then you have
because
to
you can't really address the first root problem, right? And
Right.
say, look, you know, I'm shit at finances. I need someone to help me manage my finances. This is how much I'm earning. Tell me how much I'm going to spend my money.
Right.
Tell that, but you know, no, it's not cool. That's it. Like,
Otherwise, call the IMF.
Oh. Whoa. He just said no politics.
I'm sorry.
It's about his finance. So
Finance. It's finance.
And I would go on a limb and say thanks, Geshika. So I have a friend of mine who is in finance who actually helps me with my finance.
Oh.
Yeah. So Geshika, love you. Please don't get mad at me for something.
And it's awesome to have a friend like that, because I just want to quickly just say, like, I have one of my buddies, it's Siobhan. Shout out Siobhan. He helps me out, just giving me that safe space for me to come and talk about what's happening.
Oh, okay.
And I feel like he was the only person that I had to where I could go talk to about things that I was going through.
Fair enough.
And then we had a conversation.
Yeah.
And I was able to do that with him. It's very rare for me to be able to do that. And then he would give me, okay, get up in the morning, do this, do this, do this. And then he's like, if you fail, if you aren't able to do it the next day, it's okay.
Right.
He's saying, it's fine. Don't beat yourself up about it. Do it again the next day. He's like,
Okay.
try again. You have the next day. Try again.
Yeah,
If you fail, it's okay. Get
Try
up,
again.
try again. Don't just be like, "Oh man,
Yeah, and you start
Can't
digging
do
that hole
that.
and you just keep going down.
yeah." You just keep going down.
And I will ask this question from all three of you, starting with you, my handsome sir.
Hi.
What emotion do men struggle with the most? That's why I saved it for last. You see that? Yeah. I did the thing, yeah.
What emotion? do we?
Also to qualify, Raj doesn't believe some emotions are emotions. So
What? No, we.
All right,
Like
after that.
what?
No, don't worry about that. We'll tell you that.
No,
now.
we'll get. We'll get there. We'll get there. We'll get to that.
So which ones are not emotions?
I don't.
What do you feel that it's not a feeling?
It's not a. It's based on feelings.
All right, we'll go.
So
We'll
what
go
is
this
your
way.
based on feeling right now? Right now, sorry. Let's go.
I'm based on.
What is one emotion? What is one emotion you struggle with personally?
Me.
I struggle with all the emotions in
I
life.
struggle with a lot. Yeah. Most of the time, I feel like I want to say sadness. I
Okay.
want to say that because I struggle with that because I don't want to feel that, and then I try to find avenues to get out of it.
Okay. Interesting.
I don't know, like, get what I mean? Because like
You don't want to feel it, so you try your
I
best to.
mask it. I smile all the time and I stay like this because I don't want people to see that I'm upset or I'm feeling,
You're feeling down.
down,
Feeling sad.
sadness, depression, you know,
Okay.
stuff like that. I mask it a lot,
Yeah.
and I
Fair
smile a lot because of that. Yeah.
Damn. Okay.
All right.
Heads.
So,
Okay, not an easy one. I actually thought about this while he was going on about but one thing that I actually struggle a lot with is anger. Not in the way you think.
Okay.
Not in the way you think, right? Let me qualify that. I struggle with anger in expressing myself with anger because I always am introspective whenever I come into a confrontation. I always look at myself and think, okay, what have I done wrong to deserve this? Why is this happening right now? And I'm usually very good at finding something that I've done wrong that has led to this confrontation or this issue or this failure.
Right.
So whereas in reality I could have got angry with that, I tend to then make that more pent up and I go into more apologetic mode or pacifist mode, if you will, and I try to get out of it. And that old chap is not a very good thing to be in because then it's all pent up and when it does burst, it's a bit ballistic.
Right.
So then it becomes uncontrollable. So that's what I mean by the emotion that I struggle with is anger because I always try to look, okay, what have I done wrong? What have I done wrong? And I'm like, okay, I'm sorry. Look, maybe it was my fault. Maybe I agree with you. I become very non-confrontational in that sense.
Right.
And then when I do come to a point of rupture, when I do burst, then it's very unhealthy.
Right.
And that's something that worries me. So that's something that I struggle with. I have no problems with love, affection, showing someone that I care about them. I mean, Radhika and I, we worked in theatre together so many years. So, like, now I'm much more careful because it's older. But those days, when it's hugging a kid who was, going through a bad patch and saying, don't worry, you can get this through. That kind of, I'm perfectly okay with that. But this part is something that I found as I move on, I've struggled with a lot.
right.
What would you say is like the ability to like apologize and say sorry, and what is that? Is that a feeling?
You become an apologist. So then you start apologizing for everything. Everything becomes your fault.
Yeah.
No, I mean not being able to apologize at all.
Not being able to apologize.
Oh, like as I have had that issue. I would feel it,
But
like
you
I
wouldn't
feel
have the
really
ability to say
shitty
it.
about what I did, but then I can't like put it into words, like, because I don't know if they want to hear it a certain way.
Isn't
And
it a facet of pride? I don't know.
No,
Is it not?
not like that.
Or not in that way.
Yeah, not in that way. I just don't know. Like, the inside child in you wants to like hug them and be like, hey.
Right.
But like words don't come, because I don't like to just say,
Yeah.
hey, sorry.
Right.
Like it just sounds.
Insincere. if that
Yeah,
makes sense.
to me.
Okay.
Come on.
Is it a lack of sympathy and or empathy?
No, I don't think that's it because he's feeling it.
Yeah, because I feel
He's
it.
feeling it.
Like I feel it. Like I
More
feel
an
really
expression.
bad, and I just don't know how to put it out to that person. Like, yeah, I'm really sorry about
I
like.
have not come across that. What?
Unless I'm very direct and saying like,
Right.
hey, I'm sorry about how I made you feel. Like, hey, my bad.
You make it a little bit
Like,
more matter of fact.
yeah,
right?
like,
Then
hey, my
that
bad,
makes
like-
it easier for you rather than being emotional about
Right,
it.
yeah, hey, my bad,
It's
I
not like,
made you.
I'm sorry about it. Yeah, I'm sorry.
you feel like that.
Whatever. Can we just move on? And
Right,
it
right.
just happened.
So you struggle with being emotional.
Emotional,
I guess.
vulnerable.
Yeah.
Vulnerable, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's it.
So you struggle with vulnerability.
I'm sure there's a word for this in psychology and
There has to
people
be,
out
I
there.
guess.
I'm sure there is.
I'm sure
I
if
mean,
you
it's
really
happened
find
with
it.
my daughter, with my mom, relationships. See, I am clearly the one to blame, or like I'm the one that's at fault, but I can't, you know.
You can't express it.
Yeah, I can't say it even sometimes. It's crazy. Like
But you
I don't
inside
want them to feel like I'm not,
right,
because
right.
I am. Like I feel really bad about it.
Ooh,
But sometimes I just don't know what to say. It's crazy.
damn son. Somebody give this man a hug.
After this, we'll all get a hug. Everybody gets a hug.
Group
One
hug.
hug for a group hug.
Group hug, group hug,
She gets a group hug. Everybody gets a group hug. Off camera. Don't want to appear too weak, man. That's fine. You, Rats.
We are not that kind of video.
Shout out OnlyFans.
Although, hey, whatever
What was
sells.
the website again?
Rats, what's one emotion you struggle with the most?
It is also anger for me.
Okay.
But not in the way you said, but also, I mean, I do have that also. Like, I'll be in situations where I try to not get upset and then kind of go in. But most of the time, it'll be trying to not let it cloud my judgments for the next sort of steps or actions I would do. Because it's made me make some stupid decisions sometimes because of anger. I mean, at work and with friends and all that. Yeah, I would say that. I would say anger. But then there was this other thing that we'll talk about after you. After you say.
I will say this as well, right? I found out recently, according to psychology, guys who tend to get angry is because you feel that you're in a situation that you can't control. Getting angry and pumping all that blood through your entire system because you feel your heart beating again, you feel that you're more in control of a situation. Then because there's a rush and you punch things and you throw things and all that, you feel powerful, even if it's for a small second. There you go.
Yep.
And,
Okay. Yep.
I'll join you with the shrink thing, Mashan.
Yeah.
I also read books.
Which side?
But apparently that's why guys who have anger problems, that's why you have it. You feel that you're in a situation where you can't control the situation. Therefore, with a quick burst, at least for those few seconds, you're in charge.
And then
I do
afterwards, it's
that
like,
too. Yeah.
I find myself, because I find myself
Yeah.
actually doing this quite a lot. I mean, I'm not just anger management 101. Is I found that, when I bottle it up, I sometimes find the point of rupture is something triggered by
Something minuscule.
something very mediocre.
Right.
So what I do is I actually get into my car, and if you see me driving around and you think I'm singing the song out loud, that's because I put down music and I just scream out whatever I have before I get home, because I don't want it to be a simple thing like a table mat out of place at home or something like that triggers that.
Oh.
Right, because I don't want to be
Fucking ass tuna, not the chicken town.
chicken.
my head went to a very dark place. I'm not going to say it.
I also do that a lot. But I used, not now, but before, I had really bad anger problems because of everything that I was dealing with, and I was throwing stuff around the house, breaking things, punching walls.
Yeah.
Literally, I have pictures of the skin gone from my hands. Yeah, and you would see marks of blood like on the walls because it's that much that's, like you said, pent in. Like you just hold. Like I said, it's smile.
Yeah.
And then one day somebody says something and you're like,
Motherfucker.
yeah, like, and it could be somebody that you love too.
Yeah, exactly. That's the one.
And that's the worst thing.
Yeah, that's the worst thing.
And you're like, what did you say? Like,
Yeah.
you said that?
yeah.
And
Of all the people
yeah.
there, you came up.
It's yeah, Vegeta, like,
Amanda, you didn't answer.
That's okay.
You should probably answer. You have to answer now.
Hari bang, Hari. Tu ambe.
I think he also has anger problems. Podda tarah gaya.
You know what? I am sharing this now. I'd say one emotion that I don't have complete control over is lust. and I would say that because I grew up in I think I've done some research to it. I grew up in a family where I was always expected to make sure that the females in the family were okay and good.
Okay.
Right? Because it was their satisfaction at the end of the day that mattered. And that was the end goal, even at the cost of my own happiness. Right? I would always make sure that at the end of the day, either my sister or my mom were essentially happy. Because like you said, growing up was kind of tumultuous. Everybody has it, fuck it. So because of that, I've always grown to make sure that if there's a woman in my life, she would be happy.
Mm-hmm.
And if that came at the cost of me being able to please these women, despite what happens,
Mm-hmm.
I would be okay with that. So because of that, I got into a lot of questionable relationships where they were clearly not just a red flag, dude. They were just one big red light.
It was,
Yeah, and it was bright red light, and I was I can fix that. And
It's
I
just Mars.
yes,
The red planet is
Mars. And I would very willingly go to those relationships, knowing that the only way I can please these women would be sexually. And trip my own self up.
Is that lust though?
I mean, there seem to be a lot more. And my only issue is, and this is not to gloat or brag, but given the position I'm in, right, in Sri Lanka, at least as a dealer celebrity, I do get a lot of attention.
Mm-hmm.
And that has been, and now it's a blur because the initial concept was to make sure that they were okay. Now it's just becoming addiction to sex.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Understood. Yeah.
That is how it's lost.
Oh.
Like it's switched. Like the paradigm has shifted. Like it was terrible relationships at first, and I was good. Oh, I was good at what I do.
But that was good. I was always good.
All right. But I would say right now, I think it's more attachment to the release and the rush of emotions I feel when I know they're having a good time, that I just go pursuing that as opposed to pursuing a relationship that is hearty and healthy.
Wow.
That is why my issue right now.
The fact that you figure that out, by the way,
it's
bravo.
crazy.
Holy.
Psychology, man.
Hey.
Psychology. Psychology. My
But,
God. Because, okay, I mean,
This is one of those anger management moments.
I mean, I would say like some guys would also, I mean, have problems with lust, being lustful.
yeah, but then like how
I mean-
like how Hedy said about the borrowing money from a friend, Machan. If you can't find out what the root cause of that is,
Right.
you can't address it, right?
Right.
And the second you go through life not being able to address it, it becomes a lifelong problem that you bleed from relationship to relationship. And if you truly believe that your family, that is your wife and your kids, deserve to have you at your best, that is not a game you bring. So right now I'm addressing it.
Bravo.
God damn. The fact that you figure that out, that right there.
I'm starting psychology classes if you all want to join my psychology
Psychology
classes.
101.
101.
Psychology
101.
And with that, my sirs, I think we will call the session.
It is. Wait, I was going to say something. I forgot now.
Yeah, this
Dang
one. This is what you want to say.
What? We have this. Wait. So,
This is why I pick on Radza, just so you know, he'll explain this to you and then you
what do you mean why you pick on me? Okay, so which camera can see this? Okay, here we go. I'm going to push it back. My God, I'm bad at holding up signs. Wait, like this. So this says subscribe. Subscribe.
It is French. It is subscribe.
Subscribe. Oh.
Subscribe.
I was going with the whole Japanese, you speak from diaphragm. Subscribe. Subscribe. And you can clearly see where he started writing the S and he got all the way to Kri and then realized he didn't have enough room for the B.
Isn't that the story of all men's lives? We always try to crunch everything together at the end.
That's it. You will start becoming podcast co-host, alright? With that, you guys, thanks so much for A very special thank you to our fantastic gentleman for joining us. It was great. It was a very real conversation.
It was. I mean, we were envisioning this to be a bit more of a light-hearted conversation, but we went into like really good discussions and topics.
It did get deep, yeah.
We did got. I mean, we did go
got
deep.
dig a good day.
We got did good. Get you go to it.
We're speaking in tongues now.
Yeah, we went so deep. We're doing shit in other languages now.
But yeah, no, thank you for having me too. I mean, this would be my first podcast I'm ever doing also. Like,
Really?
first
Because
ever.
people hear his voice, but they never know what he like looks like. You know?
Yeah, I know. Because as soon as I heard him speak,
This is
I was
what
like,
he
"Oh,
looks like,
it's him! It's the guy!
It's that guy.
It's the guy from Son of Hi!" Yeah, so this is how he looks. He's a dapper young man. Thank you, Hetty.
Thank you very much. Thanks
coming
for
in.
having me as well. And like he said, I mean, probably for me as well, this is my first podcast as well. So I hope I've done justice to the topic at hand. And
This is
thank
your
you very
first.
much.
I find that really.
Yes, it is.
Rats, you know, as his friend, you should know these things, Rats.
No, I mean
24 years.
Shameful.
24 years. And you don't know that this is my first
God,
podcast.
you don't know that, Rats? What? You know, just.
Subscribe.
subscribe.
Dumas.
With that, we'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.
Adios. Yay.